Welcome back to our Football Friday preseason special. One team left, another return, plus some familiar names in different places. And one school coming off a dream season. Those are just some of the on-field stories in Division II of the York Adams League. Tucked away in southern York County, the Kennerdale Rams won their first ever playoff game last year. Part of a dream season, and they have no intention of resting on their laurels.
We don't want this to just be a one and done thing. You know, our last championship was 50 years ago, so I don't want to wait 50 years to get another championship.
Hopefully it's the new standard. I mean, when I first got to Kennerdale, when I was growing up, in CFA and stuff like that, we've always been below 500.
There's a strong bond between the team and their tight-knit community.
We really felt the love of the small community in Fallen Grove, Pennsylvania, and Delta and Stewartstown. You could really tell that there was something special in the air. You could just tell that everybody was supporting each other.
New Oxford will have plenty to say about a Rams repeat, and Dover, moving from Division I, is ready to challenge.
Going down to D2 now, it's level playing ground. We are in the same realm and the same athletic abilities as other teams, other players, and it gives us a better shot.
I would say them being more competitive is better for us.
York Suburban is counting on the experience its younger players received last year to keep the Trojans in the playoff hunt.
We had a couple of young kids that, due to some injuries and stuff to some older players, that were really forced into some roles last year and really had to step up and get some quality playing time. And now they're coming back with some experience under their belt.
The Cerise name is a familiar one at Susquehannock. Tony coached the Warriors for years. Now son Joe is following in his footsteps.
I can remember back when I was 5, 6 years old, Dad on Saturday morning breaking down the film, grading the tape, and he would give me $1 every Saturday to hit the rewind and play button for him. And just doing that, I learned how to, break down film.
Players are embracing the new scheme.
A lot more quick strike ability.
Former Columbia head coach Bud Kyle crossed the river to try and turn Eastern York's fortunes around.
Just trying to go in there and change the culture, showing the kids that it's possible if they want to do it, but it's going to take work.
So far, the players are buying in.
He gives us this week to go on vacation or have off. We were almost everybody was at practice yesterday, having just going through drills, getting locked in. We can't wait. I mean, August 26th can't come fast enough.
And let's take a look at Division II. We have the Rams on top again, see if they can repeat, but New Oxford will definitely give them a battle, followed by York Suburban. Dover, of course, moving down, looks to show off its experience up in D1. Susquehannock, Eastern York, and then West York area. And Mike, of course, Bud Kyle taking on his former team, Columbia.
Right, Eastern, the big river rivalry
yeah.
there. Bud Kyle taking on his former team. And I've already nominated Sam Gemmell from Kennerdale for our Susquehanna Valley all-hair team.
I like that a lot. And I love Joe Cerise's story about with his dad watching tape.
Big money back then for an 8-year-old getting $1 for the hitting the rewind button. We go back to the Mid-Penn Conference now, and Pat Principe live in Cumberland Valley High School.
Hey there, Hossie. Every coach and player that you're hearing from tonight dreams to be back here at Cumberland Valley in early December, because this nice, shiny new turf field will be the host for the state high school football championships. Now, will there be a team from the Mid-Penn Colonial here in December? This is a division on the rise. 6 of the 8 teams made the playoffs a year ago, and more is expected from this group this season. Shippensburg has won or shared 4 of the last 6 Colonial crowns, including last season's perfect run through the division. The Greyhounds' lone 2021 loss was a 3-point heartbreaker to Cedar Cliff in the district quarterfinals. 9 offensive starters returned, led by quarterback Tucker Chamberlain, top wideout Irby Weller, and running backs Amari Kerr and Trey Cater.
We have about 2,000 yards worth of rushing offense back, and then 800 yards out of Irby in receiving offense. So we're pretty excited to see where we are. On the reverse side, we lost 9 defensive starters.
Right.
So that's a little painful.
Having a lot of success, it helps us have more confidence going into the season, knowing that we can do this, we can beat these teams. We are who we are, and why not us?
Gettysburg is making its Mid-Penn return after an 8-year run in the York Adams League. The Warriors are a good bet to extend a streak of 5 straight winning seasons, with 8 starters back on offense and another 7 returning on defense. Well, Gettysburg has been away from Mid-Penn play. They are very familiar with their Colonial rivals.
We've actually scrimmaged Mechanicsburg the last couple of years, so we're familiar with them as well, and they're in the division. We continued playing Waynesboro, so we're familiar with those guys. My nephews play for Shippensburg, so it's like, and that's the crazy thing about this whole schedule. My whole family has some type of connection with it because my wife graduated as a graduate from East Penn, and they're in division.
Family on three. 1, 2, 3. Family. Waynesboro's only Colonial loss was to division champ Shippensburg last season. The Indians went on to rack up their first ever district playoff win. Many of the key players from that run have graduated.
I kind of like the term reloading because we do have the guys that we do have returning are really good leaders. Like Michael Holden, for example, he's been starting since he was a freshman, so he has a ton of experience. And Jaylon stepping in as quarterback, he's started 2 games for us last year, won both of those.
We want to be seen as a team that is a hard competitor. We want to be the team that teams want to beat.
Northern is chasing an 8th straight winning season. The Polar Bears welcome back the bulk of the team that posted its first postseason win in 6 years.
Guarded optimism. I mean, we feel like we have a lot of pieces. We just have to keep ourselves from, as coaches, going too fast, and as players, that they're not overconfident.
Tommy Bonin is back at quarterback to lead an offense with experience at running back and on the O-line. Mechanicsburg was 2 close defeats away from a winning record and possible playoff berth a year ago. Jeff Lugge is one of the Colonials' top returning quarterbacks. That's a good thing to have in a division that has undergone a serious upgrade.
It's definitely developing into a very tough, physical division where you've got a lot of those bubbling rivalries that are only going to serve to help the kids moving forward.
We like Shippensburg to keep their Colonial crown, but it won't be easy. They'll be pushed by Northern, Waynesboro, and Mechanicsburg, and you can pretty much expect the division winner, I think, to have at least 1 loss. Gettysburg could also make a run at the top 4 if they can replace some key pieces, while East Pennsboro has enough experience back to make the leaders sweat.
Thank you, Prince. We move on to the big boys in the LL League. Section 1 might be the least affected by the Berks County expansion. Only Reading comes aboard, and it was part of the LL until 2010. Here is how the section shapes up. It's a case of the usual suspects in Section 1. Defending champ Wilson is again one of the favorites. The Dogs boast one of the most exciting players in the whole league, senior return man Cam Jones.
By the end of the year last year, nobody was kicking off to us. Everybody was swimming it. I mean, Cam had 7 kickoff and punt returns for touchdowns and 7 called back.
Uncharacteristically, Wilson plans to play a lot of juniors. The last time Wilson or Manheim Township didn't share or win the section crown, 2003. And Township should challenge again.
I see the strength in our senior class, albeit a small class, probably the smallest class I've had at Township. I see them being genuinely driven to make sure that they have a fantastic senior year.
The Streaks must replace their entire offensive line to protect returning quarterback Hayden Johnson, who was one of the league's best as a sophomore, throwing for 25 TDs and only 8 picks. With a season under his belt, he's more confident now.
Everything kind of slows down a little bit more because you get the whole year of experience, and you just know, you kind of know how, you kind of expect, you know what to expect this year. And I feel like it's going to be a little better and less nerve-wracking coming into second year.
Hempfield returned to the district playoffs last year and earned a first-round victory before bowing to eventual champion Harrisburg. The defeat left the Black Knights wanting more.
We're using that loss in the semis to, really build off of what we're going to do this year, because we're trying to make states this year. We're trying to do everything we could, to make that last step and, to reach our goals.
The Black Knights have one of the top linemen in the league in junior David Pale, an Alaska native who has offers from Temple and Louisville. At 5-4, Cedar Crest was Lebanon County's only winning team in 2021. The Falcons had big numbers, 100 players on the squad, including freshmen. They returned quarterback Jay Huber and 16 of 22 starters overall.
We were young for 2 years. We knew it. In 2020, we were really young. And then last year, I kept telling people we're still young. And now You know, we have juniors that are multiple juniors that have played 20 games.
Penn Manor was able to go 5-5, but struggled in the section with just one victory. The Comets have 17 seniors, including returning QB Eli Warfel.
I think our passing game's been, ahead of where it's been in a long time. At least it's shown good signs this summer. Eli Warfel's back as a quarterback, and he's taking good command of what we're doing offensively and spreading the ball around.
And McCaskey hopes it's on an upswing. The Tornado earned its first win since 2018, beating Reading to snap a maddening 26-game losing streak.
I never felt so happy, so proud, so excited, so accomplished in my life. Like, it was amazing. It was a great experience, a great team win.
Remash is 6'5" and will be a 4-year starter. Now Wilson has more section titles than anyone in the league, 29. Penn Manor's 5-5 record was its best since 2014. Reading rejoins the LL since leaving back in 09, but the Scarlet Knights need to turn things around after just 1-10 over the last 2 years.
Michael, I think we've got another member of the all-hair team there.
Mr. Remash there from McCaskey, very impressive.
Very impressive.
I don't know how he gets his helmet on.
A lot of shampoo by in there. All right, coming up, we'll profile what might be the toughest division in the entire state next.
And Pat takes us back to the Mid-Penn with a look at a state contender.